It's me again. I did a little bit of a sultry kind of eye for you guys in this next video, so I'm gonna start over. Hey guys! Thank you guys so much for watching me again. I had fun making this last video. First I started off talking in the video, and then I realized that I would want to try to do a voiceover, so we'll see how I ended up editing that one. If I did like half talking, half voiceover all the way, but you still see my lips moving. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for bearing with me on this endeavor. I've been loving your guys' comments so far. I got a lot of really good ideas. I'm going to be doing a Q&A to do like a little intro about, you know, my life. If you guys care about my personal stuff, you can ask me anything really. I'll be posting if I have discount codes or anything that you guys can use. You can check them out on my website. It's facesbyamberdean.com. And I have a page there with all my coupon codes for any stores that you guys are looking for that I have. You feel free to use them because they're awesome. Get a good deal, why not? And so here we go. And personally, I don't really like dry eye primers. I feel like they give you too much of an obvious look for your eye makeup. So I like something more creamy, or even just like a translucent, like a Makeup Forever HD powder I like. So first, like what I'm going to do is putting a MAC Feline pencil in my waterline. And I'm going to use the Beauty Blender to hold my eyelid down. That way I don't get a fingerprint in my makeup, because you know that always happens. And you can see that I have a little bit like underneath my lash line there too. I'm just going to blend that out with a brush too. Oh, where's my brush? Okay, I'll use this one. This is a Bdellium, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, Tools. This is the 781. And I'm going to use this basically just to blend out that line that I just did with the Feline. You can see it's a little bit messy, that's okay. One of my favorites, this is a MAC 226, a limited brush, sorry about it, but this is a really good brush for underneath the eye. And I'm going to be using my amazing palette here. I'm going to use the Ben Nye. This is Ben Nye Blush in Red Brown. Ben Nye Blush Red Brown. And I'm going to be using that basically to start to blend out underneath my lash line. So just get a little bit there on the brush, and then keeping the brush like pretty vertical, holding it up and down, because if you do it too straight on this way, you don't really get it so blended and so diffused around the edges. As you guys can see, this is when I started doing the no talking thing so I can do the voiceover. So after I finished blending out the red brown, I got a little bit of it's a Ben Nye Coco Brown eyeshadow. Still applying it with the 226, and then I pick up the Morphe, it's the M504 brush, and I'm just going to blend that all out since it's a little bit bigger. Next, to make sure I'm using something that's going to last longer and not run, I'm using the Push Cosmetics black gel pencil. And after I apply that underneath the lash line, I'm blending it out with the Bdellium Tools 781 again, and then again with the MAC 226. You guys will notice that I really love the gel pencils. They're super smooth and they last really long. Now make your best sultry face. Oh yeah, that's cute. Now with one of my favorite eyeshadows, this is Push Cosmetics Ochre eyeshadow. And I'm really just blending this underneath the eye. I'm going to take it a little bit on the inner corner of the crease too. You guys will notice I love doing darker things on the inside of there. I think it makes everything look a little bit more sultry, and if you don't overdo it, it doesn't make it look crazy. Something else you guys might notice is I was having fun doing slow-mos of making silly faces here. Well, enough of that. Back to blending my eyeshadow. I'm using the Morphe brush again, and I'm just adding more of the ochre, taking it through the crease and then out to the outside of the crease, not going too much above, really just doing it to give it some definition. Now you'll see part of the creative process. I have no idea what I'm going to use, so I'm like, what I'm finna use here? I don't know. Oh, wait. Nope, don't want that. Hold on. Okay, I think, yep, I'm going to use this. Decided to go with like a pinkish white eyeshadow. It's from the Pari palette by Rachel Murphy Makeup. First I applied it dry, and then I went back over it with wetting the brush with Fix Plus to make it more metallic. Now just to blend out the crease, I'm using a little bit more ochre with a 226, and then I'm going to pick up the Push palette again and use TO eyeshadow with a Bdellium Tools 780, because first I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but then you'll see the face of approval. I was totally into the color, so there we go. I like it. So then I end up picking up the MAC 226 again, just to add a little bit more on the inside for that darker definition. You guys know I like that. I guess you call it reverse smoky eye. Add a little bit underneath the eye, and then shake your head around in approval. I'm not sure what's up with me and these faces, honestly. Now, mascara. This is Jordana Best Lash Extreme. Jordana's like this old school, super affordable brand. I get it from Kmart for $2 a tube. You can get it in the UK online too. I think it's like £3 a tube, to die for. Now I just want to set my eyeshadow I just applied underneath, also mattify my face now that I have a little bit more on. So I'm using the HD Makeup Forever powder and the Bdellium, I say Bdellium. If it's not Bdellium, then why is there a B? Correction. Bdellium Tools 965, just going to put a little bit underneath the eye and around the T-zone. Now taking off the lip balm that I applied in the skin tutorial because it's time for lips. I'm going to be using, this is the NYX Forbidden lipstick. Went down, okay, back up. Forbidden, it's a beautiful matte. And then after that, I'm using the NYX Nude Truffle lip pencil. I put the lipstick first because it's easier to blend the pencil into the lipstick once it's on. Doesn't go on so harsh. Here you can see the difference between like the heart shape I create, you guys all love, and my normal lip shape. I do overdraw. People always think that it's my natural lips, but I mean, I try. Guess it's time to think I'm feeling myself. Hey. Honestly, now enough embarrassing faces. Alright, now using Sweet and Sour by MAC, I'm just going to go on top of this nude concoction I've created to give it a little bit more of a peachiness and a little bit of shine. Alright, so you guys know when you have that itch after you did your foundation, you know you have to just tap, tap, tap it out. Here is Amazing Duo. This is a latex-free adhesive, and I'm embarrassed here to show you guys my lashes I've used about 100 times. They're Lashes by Lena and Olivia. Here you can see the wand of the Duo. It's a latex-free adhesive, and it's amazing because it's super sticky. You don't have to let it get tacky to put the lashes on. You can see I'm just popping those on, pinching them down. Here's the difference between one without, one with. Big old difference. Alright, so I thought I was done with shadows, but I'm not. Using the Passion Purple, one of my must-haves midnight blush. Actually, that's a blush. Putting it underneath the eye with the MAC 226 just to give it a little bit more color. I really like this color. I use it all the freaking time. That's pretty much it. Just adding a couple final touches, checking myself out, doing embarrassing things with video editing, and that's all. This look for you today. And if you guys are wondering, like, where did your hair go from yesterday? Oh, that shit wasn't real. That was fake. I liked it though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.